Everyone, and welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level grammar lesson, and today we're going to be talking about the passive voice and using it to introduce new information. So first we're going to match the pictures to the sentences. So the man was injured in a car accident. This is picture B. The window was broken by a ball. Picture A. And coffee was spilt on the carpet, picture C. So in a passive sentence, by introduces the agent of the verb. This cabin was built by my grandfather in 1943. So the grandfather is the agent, and by introduces the grandfather. We often do not express the agent if it is either unknown, so a car was stolen last night, but we don't know who stole it, or unimportant. The wheel was invented many years ago. The main point of this sentence is that it was invented, but we don't really care by whom. All right, so now see if you can change these active sentences into passive. You can pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. All right, so number one would be the islands are surrounded by dangerous water. Election is held every 5 years by the government. We might not necessarily need that because you can assume that any election is being held by the government. People speak Dutch in Holland, so Dutch is spoken in Holland. Again, we don't really need to say people because we can kind of assume that it's people, not animals, not things that are doing the speaking. And the house was damaged by storm winds last week. And my flight was canceled because of a snowstorm. Again, you probably don't really need by the airline for this one because if you're talking about a flight being canceled, it's pretty safe to assume that the airline is the entity that canceled it. All right, so now complete the sentence with a passive verb. Go ahead and pause the video, try this on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So the Nutcracker was composed by Tchaikovsky. The play called The Miser was written by Molière. And the battery was invented by Alessandro Volta. The Holy Trinity was painted by El Greco. The vaccine for polio was developed by Jonas Salk. And the thinker was sculpted by Rodin. So when do we use the passive? We often use the passive when we introduce new or important information if the information is about who or what did it. So here is an example of an active sentence. The thinker is one of the most famous sculptures in the world. Rodin sculpted it in 1880. And the passive version of that sentence would be the thinker is one of the most famous sculptures in the world. It was sculpted by Rodin in 1880. So we look at the new information that Rodin is the sculptor, and that's in the second sentence, and so that information can be introduced with the passive. So what is the new or important information? And change the second sentence into the passive. Again, you can pause the video, try this on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Right, so the Mona Lisa is a famous Renaissance painting. Could say it was painted by Leonardo da Vinci in about 1503. And Constantinople was the capital of the Byzantine Empire. The city was conquered by Sultan Mehmet in 1453. Google is a large American company. It was founded by Larry Page and Sergey Brin in 1998. And there were historic buildings in Christchurch. The buildings were damaged by an earthquake in 2011. London is a big city. It was destroyed by fire in 1666. Louisiana belonged to the French. It was sold to the United States in 1803. Romeo and Juliet is a famous play. It was written by Shakespeare in around 1591. Now we use the passive for new and important information that expresses who or what did it. Don Quixote is an important novel. It was written by Miguel de Cervantes. We also use the passive when the new or important information expresses what happened to the subject. So did you hear about Jan? She was fired from her job. Or how was it done? The Empire State Building is in New York. It was constructed in 1931. So read the text. You do not need to change the first sentence, but change all the other sentences into passive. And remember, you do not need to show by plus the agent if it's unknown or unimportant. So go ahead and pause the video, try this on your own, and then you can restart when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, this is Westminster Abbey, a famous building in London. It was founded as a church in the 7th century. And the current church was built in the 13th century. Many kings and queens were crowned here, and many famous English people are also buried here. Again, you're going to change all of the sentences except the first one to the passive. So the banana is actually a kind of berry. Bananas are grown in more than 100 countries. The bananas are picked when they are still green. They are transported by ship, and bananas are ripened in special rooms. Here's some examples of new information. I really liked the movie last night. Not me, it was ruined by that terrible ending. Now match the beginnings to the correct endings of each sentence. Again, you can pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to continue. You need to redo your homework because it wasn't done properly. I didn't enjoy that book very much because it wasn't well written. The conference was a success because it was well organized. The house will last forever because it was built of stone. And we couldn't read the report because it wasn't prepared on time. Now complete these sentences. I did not grade your essay because it was not completed on time. Australia was settled by Europeans in 1788. You should be more patient. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. And Mr. Smith needs to drive more carefully. He is lucky that he wasn't killed in that accident. I really like this photo, but I cannot remember where it was taken. It's cold in the house in the morning because the windows were closed last night. And the university did not look at Tony's application because it wasn't received on time. It came late. And antibiotics are common today, yet they weren't discovered until 1929. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, leave comments, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.